What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to the den. I am your host, Ed Honcho. I'm happy to be here. I'm just happy to be here. With all you wonderful people this evening, man. A couple of things. And you know, when you think you have stuff on time, then for some reason, you know, your Wi-Fi wants to cut out and you got to reset everything. It's always beautiful. But I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It'll probably be a shorter day tonight. Maybe about an hour, so maybe a little bit longer. I gotta fucking start getting some sleep. Like, I'm a terrible person. Plus, I got a fucking appointment tomorrow, and I got a feeling like I'm gonna be late, even though I got plenty of time to be there on time. Excuse me. I just feel like I'm gonna be late. So I'm gonna get straight to the point. I'm not gonna fluff around too much. First, let's see what we have joining us, and we're gonna talk about repairing relationships tonight. So, someone shared a story with me. I'm gonna share that story with you guys, and I just kind of want to know who you feel was right, who you feel was wrong, if you feel like the right decision was made. And just your thoughts, your input, you know, in this particular story that was shared with me. But like I said, let's see what we got joining us this evening, and then let's have a good old time, man. Let's have some good old den fun. Well, you guys have gotten way too nice, all right? I'm highly upset. Appreciate the love, Sticky Northside, with the membership upgrade. All right, man, let me see. Oh, make sure you're in the live chat, not the top chat. The top chat ain't where it's at. All right. I see Miss Bell. What's the motherfucking deal? How you doing this evening, ma'am? John from New York, my favorite New Yorker. Kate Grace, the lovely Miss Grace in the building. Broderick, you mentally exhausted from Discord chat today. I thought it was a chat we jumped off at night. Infinity, the former pimp, the reformed pimp. What's the motherfucking deal? Sticky Northside, what's the motherfucking deal? Stephanie Paul, how you doing this evening, ma'am? Let's see. 17, what's the motherfucking deal? The lovely Miss Just Sarah in the building this evening. How are you doing this evening, ma'am? Let's see. It's my prerogative. No, Miss Grace, absolutely not. Not. I just, I said it's just been, let me finish shouting everybody out, then I'll dive into it a little bit. A tidbit. I guess that's everybody. Ronald Isley. Hello, Isley. Let's see. All right, cool. Let me see something, because the story was shared with me, and I kind of took some notes, right? But this is a story about a relationship, and again, this is a true story, as best as I can retell it, right? So, give me that. I got junk all over the place. What happened to this notebook? And I'm hoping that this is the right notebook that I wrote it in. But I'll start kind of talking about it, and then, you know, like I said, what we'll do is we'll open up the line after that, and we'll let people share their thoughts on the story. So basically, this is the story of a couple. They knew each other for, I guess you could say, most of their lives, through, I guess elementary on up. But they never were like that until after college. Right. And so after college, after having, separate relationship situations, they got cool. Okay, here we go. Good. They got cool and, decided to hook up and tie the knot, right? So, and I guess this is kind of, I guess I took some earlier notes of this part of the story, but, so basically, early on, the gentleman in our story is a frisky rabbit, right? Likes to get frisky. The lady in our story, not so much. Not as intimate in that manner, right? So there's kind of some incompatibility there. I mean, we're talking months at a time, like gaps, in physical intimacy. So eventually, our lovely couple has a child. So for about a year after the birth of the child, and even, during the pregnancy of the child, the lady in our story was not very keen on her husband touching her. Just like not in any kind of manner. No frisky, no, anything. Right? So up until about a year after they had their child. And then eventually when it happened, it was just kind of like, hey, do it just to kind of get off my case kind of thing, right? Now, also during the course of this relationship up to this point, the back and forth hasn't always been the most pleasant, right? And fellas, your old lady knows you better than anybody, right? And your old lady is the one person who can cut to your core, right? And so apparently there was no, this is not my story. So apparently there, along the way there was some commentary that was not so pleasant for the gentleman from the lady, things that, may sting personally. It could be whatever. Like I say, as a man, there's certain things you take pride in, whether it's, your work or your whatever goals or ambition, whatever it may be, your family, whatever it could be, and so, like I said, I don't know the extent of or the details of the insult. It's none of my business, but, apparently, very, stinging remarks. So, after this behavior has gone on for so long, years, we're talking about years here, so I mean, it was actually a little while before they had their child, so it was a while before that, so it wasn't like just, immediately after getting married, some years, if I'm not mistaken. And so the missus is not intimate, that, it really hasn't changed. And the mister is at this point is feeling like neglected. He feels like his needs are not being tended to. He's doing what he needs to do as a man to take care of his household and his family, but his needs are not being, attended to. And he's doing all the right stuff. He's not out there doing anything bad. Just wants to be with his wife. So after a while, eventually, the behavior of this gentleman starts to deviate a little bit, deviate from the plan. May have gotten on some message boards or some areas where you can get a little flirty, right? And so makes a friend, and just kind of has conversations with that friend. I guess gets to have those conversations. He feels like he's not getting at home. A situation occurs, after so long. We're talking about a while, like that. Just talking, and again, no physical act, no real meeting up with anybody or anything like that. Just talking, but he's just somebody to fill that void that he does not feel like is being received at home. So, opportunity arises. A situation occurs where an opportunity to meet up with, a woman that this person has been speaking with happens. And the opportunity happens. It doesn't get to the point of what I would consider, or many I think men would consider, cheating to that extent, but I guess you can call cheating, some people say the emotional aspect. Once you begin doing it emotionally, it's cheating. Once you start thinking about it, it's cheating. I think there's a whole lot of nonsense there, but I think there are some sensible ways to look at it. And kind of just got together with this other person. Like I said, didn't get. It wasn't like it was a home run hit or anything. I don't know what you would call it. First base, second base. I don't know what the bases are. I'm like a fucking Babe Ruth myself. Fucking Barry Bonds. You know what I'm saying? I'm like Mark McGwire with twice the steroids. I hit home runs. I don't know what the bases are. Okay, so don't fault me for not being familiar with shortstopping it. I'm going all in. Okay, I don't do fucking a bunch of fucking RBIs, or I don't score anybody else. It's just me. You know what I'm saying? My own RBIs, home run hitter. Anyway, getting back to the story. But no, so where you would say maybe, what is it? What do they used to call it back in school? Heavy petting or something like that, right? So he's talking. But it didn't get to the point where like it was, penetration or anything like that. Like no exposed genitalia, right? So upon return home, things were discovered, and it became a bit of a situation, right? Of course it would, right? And so this is kind of where we get to the conversation of, right, wrong, repairing relationships. Where do you go from here, right? And so the gentleman in this situation basically owned up, right, to what happened. In a major way. Much better than me. So like I said, he basically, kind of told her what it was. He eliminated any kind of connections to said person or any any kind of social media access. Um, even told friends and family, openly and honestly what had occurred, which I think takes a lot of guts. I don't know if it's any of their damn business with me personally, but I think if you're going to, you want to be held accountable, and you're doing this because you love and care about your family and you feel like that's the right thing to do, then I respect that, wholeheartedly. But like I said, so after this situation, again, the gentleman feels like, he's not getting the affection that he deserves at home. He's doing all the things that, women say they want a man to do, be a provider, protector, and, all of those good things. He's, faithful and all that good stuff, right? Stand-up guy. And, but he's just not getting that, what he wants at home. And then, after some years of kind of dealing with some inconsistencies in the affection department, seeks out some company. Doesn't really go too far. But, again, right, intimate physical contact. I know some people feel like hugging somebody too long, right, is a no-go, depending on who you ask. Looking at somebody too long, some motherfucker might be, depending on how you ask. So, I want to look at this story, right, and I want to know your thoughts, Can infidelity, can cheating be forgiven? Right? Can a person change? Is this person in this story, in your opinion, are they really a cheater, or were they driven to something that maybe they wouldn't have done? In my personal opinion, from what I know of this individual, and I like to consider myself a pretty good judge of character. I like to think I'm pretty spot on. Usually, maybe sometimes, occasionally. That what I get from this person is like, this was a situation where all options were exhausted, right? What? Cartier? What you say now? Where you been at like that? D the Gamma, where's the goddamn channel? I think I forgot, huh? Well, I didn't. But how are you, Miss D the Gamma? So, to me, I feel like he exhausted the possibility. But even in a situation like that, if you've exhausted all your options, is it acceptable, to go out and seek something else? You love and care about your family, right? You don't want to ruin that, but sometimes you just may not be getting what you need. Is that okay? But again, like I said, this gentleman went above and beyond and is doing everything, imaginable to prove that, he wants to do the right thing. And so apparently what's discovered is that there is a miscommunication in their understanding of a particular thing. And so I'll save that maybe for the end of the stream. Like I said, I said I want to talk a long time, and I did talk a long time. I told you it was going to be a bit of a shorter stream because, like I said, I'm not going to lie to you. I almost was a hoe ass Honcho right before the stream, but I've been neglecting y'all. Too bad I've been neglecting the sauce too. It's just things that have to be done. Like I said, I'm a firm believer that timing is everything, and right now the timing is right. And you gotta make a little bit of sacrifice. Sometimes fucking sacrifice is sleep. I like sleep though. But it'll all pay off. It's gonna be real cool once everything's in order. Yeah, and has been doing the right thing for over a year now, right? You know what I'm saying? And so the question that was proposed was, how hard do you love somebody? Is love what motivates someone to be willing to make those major sacrifices and changes? Or is it love that never gets you to that point in the first place? Is it love that realizes, each other's weaknesses? Love, is it forgiveness? Is it understanding? What are you willing to do to have that, to keep a relationship intact? Like, how far are you willing to go? And me personally, I honestly believe that, like, most people aren't willing to do a motherfucking thing. And like I said, and I think most people are fucked up in some sort of way or the other. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all have flaws, like me included. Um, and so to sit here and just be like, I'm not willing to do anything to make a relationship work, like, I think, those type of people are definitely part of the problem. But I think most people are those type of people. So, shut up, Honcho. Let's open up the line, man. You talking a lot. You're fucking wasting all the precious line time. Give me a second while I get everything set up here. I guess I should be reading the chat too. That would probably help. What you say? What you say, Sweetberry? Sweetberry, you can't say no. You don't ever call no way. Not like you using it, right? Not like you're using the line, right? Yeah, I feel like I'm sleep talking. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like I am in fucking. I don't know. Like when fucking cartoons, like in little dream world and shit. That shit be kind of like blurry. But I feel like tiredness is creeping in. This is like gonna eventually come like to this little pinpoint thing when your fucking eyes are fucking closed and you fucking knocked out. So yeah, when I hop out of Discord, I've been in the fucking Discord fucking with y'all. The next thing you know, I'm fucking dozing off and shit. I'm like, alright, fucking, I'm gonna give me some sleep. And then I fucking may sleep for like an hour and a half, get back up, and just be back at it. But I can't get back in the Discord because I ain't gonna get shit done. Fool around with y'all. But the Discord is very entertaining, so if you are not a part of that conversation, you're definitely missing out on a big, big part of the den, because I think some very intriguing interactions take place in the den. Like, I definitely think, let's go, I gotta fix that. The den Discord. And so, if you're not a part of that, I definitely think you should consider it. Gotcha. And, the Den Discord is free. Welcome to everybody. Alright. 1 second. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the Den this evening?
What's going on? One man up right here.
Man up. What's the motherfucking deal, Mr. Man up? How you doing this evening, Mr. Man up?
I can't complain. Getting back to each passing day. How you feeling?
No, man, pretty good. I'm alive, man. I'm breathing. My fingers and toes are working. I'm pretty good, man. So.
Oh man. Yeah. I'm calling about the topic today, and me and the person that you're talking about, we had a conversation about this before, and I told him this here. I said, you make mistakes as a person. Who am I to judge you? I'm not judging. You did what you did. As long as you learn from it, don't do it again. Stuff like that. I gave him some points. And I understood where he's coming from as a man. We all have those feelings and emotions. We on the outside, we act like we don't, but we do. We are very weak, but we just don't show it. But at the end of the day, man, I was like this here. But to answer your question, man, can people can infidelity be forgiven? Anything could be forgiven. It's up to us if we want to forgive it. That's really the question. Do we want these things to be forgiven? Now, as a person that went through these things myself before in the past, that happened to me, I forgave it the first time, but the second time I did not forgive it. It, like I said, it can be. It's just that we don't choose to do it. We have it set in our ways or in our minds to where we want things a certain way, and if you're not willing to give it to us, then we'll go somewhere else and get these things the way we want it done. That's just how it is. And I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. I guess other people can, make that kind of determination. But I just look at it like this: just as long as you learn from your mistakes. Because if you don't learn from it, then it was not a mistake. It's just something you would intentionally and wanted to have done. That's just how
I agree with that. I agree with that. But in this situation, and again, since you know the person that we're speaking about, what are your thoughts? Do you feel like it was a deliberate decision? Do you feel like it was a situation where they kind of exhausted their possibilities? I mean, we all want affection. We all want to be loved, regardless of how rough and tough some people may play. People have different ways of seeking out their affection or whatever it may be. Everybody in some form or fashion wants to be loved and appreciated for something. How do you feel about when you spoke with this person about that? Do you feel like again, like I say, it was just kind of a situation their options were exhausted, or you think it was there intentionally?
I'm going to say it was their intention, and I'm not going to say that option was exhausted. What I'm going to say is this here. What a lot of people don't understand is this here. I know men, we come off as if we're the type of persons to where we're tough, we're strong, we handle that our business, all that good stuff. We put out that demeanor, because that's how we was brought up to think. But at the end of the day, we do have feelings and emotions. We do want certain things, just like everybody. We want certain things to happen for us, just like anybody else. And once those things don't start to happen, of course, we start feeling a certain way. Now, everybody's going to react differently. I'm not saying that, go ahead and do this and do that. No, I am not saying that whatsoever. But I know everybody's going to react differently. Now, like I said before, it all depends on what you learn from your mistakes. Did you learn something at all? Or are you going to keep repeating this? So that's really the question, the answer. I mean, it depends on how someone is going to react to, what they've done. Now, also too, to say that they exhaust all their efforts, that's not really for me to say. I will leave that up to that person if they want to, come out and say that. Now, but I put it like this here. What a lot of people need to understand is what you want to have done. I mean, if you want your needs to be met, just know this here: the person that you're with is going to want their needs met too. You have to understand it is a two-way street. You have to understand that, and if you do not understand that, then you will never get anywhere. You're going to always feel like this person did you wrong when you're not understanding that this person needed to be wanted to be wanted, wanted to be loved, and they wanted it in this certain type of way. So that's what a lot of people don't understand. People feel loved differently. People feel wanted differently. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't get that kind of understanding about this person before y'all tie the knot, then I don't think your relationship would never work. That's just my personal opinion.
I agree with that. Okay. I have nothing to add or contradict to that. Anything else that's on your mind there, Mr. Mando?
I'll wait for you to have something to say, man.
I got nothing, man.
Nah, I don't have anything else, man. But yes, I do. Did you see that picture I posted in the Discord?
Which one?
Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you go back and check it out. I don't want to mention it in the theme.
The one you posted.
So
you posted it today, or was it yesterday?
No, it's today.
Okay, no, I hadn't seen the one today. Okay, no, I have to go.
Okay. All right, then I'll let you check that out, man. Hit me up, tell me what you think of it.
Okay, I definitely will. I'll go check it out here in a little bit right after the stream.
All right, then I'll holler at you, man.
All right, man, Mr. Man Up, man. I appreciate you calling in and getting the party started this evening, sir.
All right.
All right, have a good night.
Thank you later.
All right.
All right, you too.
What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling in to the den this evening?
Hello, Mr. Honcho. Frost here.
Frost, what's the motherfucking deal, Mr. Frost? How you doing this evening, sir?
Good, sir. Good, sir.
All right. So, if you got a chance to hear the story, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts on this whole topic is, when it comes to relate, like I said, my whole thoughts on this topic can mostly be summed up as, like I said, when it comes to relationships, I know it takes two to tango, but like I said, but a lot of times when it comes to that, it always seems like I know both I said pretty much both people's happiness should matter, but it always seems like the relationship's always really at stake when the female is unhappy.
Yes. Interesting. Why do most relationships, the success of most relationships, gauge on the happiness of the female? Why do you think that's a thing?
Well, when it comes to that, honestly, I really don't know. I really don't know how to answer that question, because it always seems like just one of those things that females might have like a higher ground upon because the way I feel is that if neither my way is that, like I said, if neither are happy, then they shouldn't be together. But if one, like I said, pretty much, but if one is happy and the other isn't, if one is happy and the other isn't, they should either work through it or break up, because there's no point in being with somebody that you're not happy with. So, yeah.
I agree with that. Definitely. Yeah, because a lot of people try to force, or they add time to these relationships thinking they're going to help benefit it or improve it, or something's going to change. The only thing that's going to change a relationship is actual change and action and effort to that change, and most people don't want to do that. So I agree. If people aren't happy, they need to split up and not waste too much of each other's time.
Right. I said right. But when you look at relationships nowadays, and even back then, it's always like, let's say, like, if the woman, it's always say, like, if the woman is unhappy, then the narrative is always going to switch to what did the man do? What did the man do? What are you not? I said, what are you not doing wrong? Why is she not unhappy? But then if you flip that around and the man is unhappy, then all of a sudden, I said pretty much. Then when you flip that around and the man is unhappy, then all of a sudden the narrative always switches to it's not that. Always switching to it's not that serious. Get over it. It's not that serious. Get over it. You'll get through it. And that's just messed up, because, like I said before, it takes two to tango.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing, we're not, as men, society says you're not supposed to have an opinion on matters such as these, relationships and things like that. You come out looking soft, if you will. So, it is what it is, but I think, men also have to step up and make better judgments. And I think people as a whole, need to embrace the word no. But, no, that's another topic for another day.
Yes, I said, and for me personally, like I said, I haven't really been in for me personally, I haven't exactly been in a lot of relationships. like I said, my last relationship was three. My last relationship was three. My last relationship was 3 years ago. We separated due to too many quarrels, arguments, and disagreements. But our separation was amicably, and I had to make sure, that because I was not, I had to make sure that because everyone knows when a relationship, like I said before, when a relationship fails, who's the first person to blame? The man.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. And look at her. Like I said, I'm not trying to sound sexist or anything, but I'm trying to sexist or anything, especially when it comes to me on these certain types of subjects. But I'm sorry. In most of these cases, it seems like females always seem to have like the higher ground when it comes to this. For example, when it comes to say like cheating in a relationship, like everyone knows if the man cheats in a relationship, he's rightfully mocked, he's rightfully rocked, he's rightfully condemned, and he's rightfully shunned for exactly as he should be. But on the other hand, if the female cheats, she'll get some names every now and then. But in the grand scheme of things, what they'll mostly say to the guy is, it's not that. What she'll mostly come to is, it's not that serious. She was never good for you anyway. Just move on. Basically, once the man cheats, you ain't a no good dog. But if the woman cheats, screw it, just move on. And that ain't right.
That's true though. It is absolutely true. Usually, like say, if a man, I'm sorry, if the woman is unhappy, hey, he failed her emotionally. He wasn't there for some type of support. It is always, what did he do wrong? It goes back to that happy factor. Having that happiness. Is happiness, a factor that should deteriorate relations? I mean, if you've committed to somebody, especially like a marriage, right? Like does happiness, the happy factor, that get to be justifiable means for divorce? Because you see so many people say, I'm unhappy, I want out of a relationship. They don't try, they don't make an effort, to try to figure anything out. They just decided they're unhappy, and that's it. Like, do you think that's a justifiable means to end a relationship? Unhappiness?
Well, that's mostly a two-way street. Like I said, pretty much, if you actually try to get through it and you're still unhappy, then yes, that's maybe grounds to end the relationship. But if you're unhappy and you don't even give it a try, it's basically. But if you're unhappy, you don't even give it a try. Basically, like one of those examples, like. Basically, one of those examples, like if you feel this is not for you, like once you're out of the honeymoon phase, then no, that shouldn't be grounds to end a relationship. Like I said, because there is no such thing as the perfect relationship. You're gonna have quarrels. You're gonna have arguments. But if the relationship is true, you're gonna get through it by the means. If it's not meant to meet, then you break up. Such as evolution.
I agree. Well, I think people find it so difficult to get out of a bad relationship, though. I think we all know people, who are in bad relationships, but then we all know people who probably stayed in bad relationships too long. Some of us might have done it. Some of us might be in one right now. Why do you think it's so difficult, though, for people to get out of a bad relationship?
Sometimes it's difficult to get out of a bad. Sometimes it's difficult to get out of a bad relationship because sometimes it's mostly just like. Sometimes it's mostly just like that gut. It's mostly just like that gut feeling, as in where you can't leave them. Like that you always have that person where it's like that person like it's not working. They're bad for you. You want to leave them, but there's always there's always just that one aspect that you just can't get away from. What you can't get away from. Whether it's the person being there for you, or whether it's the person being there for you, or you overreacting, or some other thing. But there's always just that one factor that just keeps you coming back to it. And if we're being honest here, 9 times out of 10, that one factor that keeps people together is sometimes the sex.
Mm. Mm. Really? Yeah, man, I would agree. I think people are willing to sacrifice for, success. So, okay. Mm. So, what about you, sir? Have you ever dealt with outside interference in a relationship? Have you or been or dealt with a cheating partner?
There was this one. Like I said before, I haven't really been in many relationships, but there was this one time where I was in high school. And the way we pretty much got together is like there was this one time we was getting off the school bus, and this girl pretty much had asked me wanted to go out, asked me if I wanted to go out, and I took it as a joke at first, and I pretty much said, yeah, sure. Yes, it didn't come. They pretty much come to find out she was serious. So then we started talking, and we actually dated, and then we actually dated for like a couple of weeks. So even to my birthday. But then later on there came this date where it's like basically she wasn't really talking to me. She wasn't really talking to me as much. And then I pretty much just straight up asked her, like, are you gonna pay any attention to me? And then the next day we actually started talking. Then she starts telling me how something may have gone wrong, and I said, well, what do you mean? Then she starts saying that, okay, I just need some space. And then I pretty much said fuck it. And then when I saw her later on that day, she was with someone else. She was with someone else and everything, which pretty much came to the realization of me which pretty much came to the realization of me that the reason she broke up with me is because she wanted to be someone else. And then I pretty much just said, and I wasn't really upset or anything. All I pretty much said was that, well, I was gonna be hoes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so if it's in your bloodline, you can't help it. All right. Well, that's a bit, Mr. Frost. Well, okay. I mean, I don't know. I have y'all some of the worst people ever in this fucking den. Yeah, I actually didn't realize we went past the little 10-minute mark, but I definitely appreciate you sharing your thoughts with us, Mr. Frost, and share their story with us. I know it ain't always easy to share little stories like that, even though it may have been back in high school. But it happens to the best of us, man.
Yeah, you're right, Hon. Like I said, and like I said, I know we got a whole bunch of calls waiting in line. So like I said, I pretty much leave you this. If it's the one thing for me, when it comes to relationships and all that, one thing I will always say is basically, look, when it comes to this world and lifetime, love exists, but true love is a myth.
True love is a myth.
Yes, true love is a myth, because like I said, love does exist, but true love is a myth. Because as long as their relationship is breaking up, in that case, there is no such thing as true love. Thanks for the call, Honch.
All right, Mr. Frost, I appreciate you calling in, sir.
All right, I'll let you.
All right. Very interesting perspective. That might be a topic for a future show. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this evening? Hello? Hola. ¿Cómo está?
Is it safe?
Yes, this is a safe space.
Oh, okay. Thank goodness. How you doing, Honcho?
I'm doing good, Mr. Dunn. How about yourself, sir? How have you been?
I've been doing okay. Thank you for asking. It's been a action-packed week. Been a lot of craziness going on. I find it a big coincidence that you're talking about this topic because I literally just got done talking to a friend of mine who called me over to his place so he can have a 2-hour conversation with me about something that was important, and it ended up being about his relationship, cheating on his wife, him and his wife not having sex for the past 3 years since their child was born, and he has a problem where he can't be alone, but he has no interest with his wife, and what can he do to better himself? So when you were telling the story, a lot of it reminded me of the conversation and advice I had with him. This story that you mentioned that is quote unquote not about you,
Yes.
it happens all the time. I mean, I can't give you an exact number, but it sounds like it's more than half of all relationships that are out there that have been established that are long-term relationships. It gets monotonous. It gets boring. It gets predictable. People don't express their true feelings. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who was a lady, and we were saying how I said to her how adults are just overgrown children. I don't know if you want me to break down the exact story that you mentioned, or if there's a certain part that you want me to give my comment on.
I mean, whichever approach you want to take at it.
Well, I always feel like there's 3 sides to a story. There's his side, her side, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. People do fall apart, but it's usually not just one person's fault. Both sides can get monotonous. Like this couple hasn't had sex for almost a year, you said?
Well, actually, they're like, I'm saving the last part of the story for the end of the stream. So there's like a little something that happened. They had went, some time. Like, there was a point where there was over a year where they did not engage with one another.
Right. So I always say it's either somebody's cheating or that person really has a gripe with you. And then the other person who's telling you the story isn't telling you the real reason why that person has a gripe with them. Like, she might not have been interested in having sex with him for the past year. I'm just making up that number because maybe he's a jerk. Maybe he's a slob around the house. Maybe there's some things that she's been saying to him, or whatever. It could be something that a guy's been saying to the woman, where they've been asking repeatedly, nicely, I want some compromise here, and they don't get it. And after a while, you get vindictive, you get nasty, you get fed up. And women have understood that if they weaponize their vagina, they can get men to do certain things or feel a certain way. So I just feel like there's always more to the story. I feel that if he wasn't happy with her and they had that conversation and she said some nasty things, did she just out of the blue say those nasty things? Did he say nasty things first? What were those nasty things? Were they personal attacks that were unnecessary? Or were they attacks about things that she's been asking him to change and he hasn't? So that's why I always like to know more of the story. That's why I always say that the truth is somewhere in the middle. But where he screwed up is either A, he wasn't paying attention enough to know that if she was cheating or not. Because I wouldn't put it past this story that she was cheating the whole time, even though she gave him shit for cheating when she found out. But I feel where he fucked up was he should have been like, look, I'm not happy. You're not happy, clearly. We're not having sex. We're not communicating like we should, blah, blah, blah. let's work on this. If it doesn't work out, let's get a divorce. I'm out. Or if you don't want to get a divorce, I'm saying let's have an open marriage. I think where he messed up, or when anyone messes up in these kind of situations, is they don't put all their cards on the table and say, this is how it's going to be. If you don't like it, bye. Because they're too afraid of being alone. They're afraid of the drama that might come with it, whatever the reason is. So I feel like that's where he messed up, by not putting all his cards on the table and saying, I'm going to go sleep with other women if you don't do this, this, and this. And she would have turned around and said, well, if you want this, this, and this, then I want that, that, and that from you. But it sounds like they didn't do that.
Okay. So you think with those situations, I mean, because it's almost like, what do you have to lose that you aren't already risking, right? So might as well just throw everything out there.
Well, it's like what I told my guy friend. I said, what do you have to lose? I mean, you and your wife don't have a relationship. You're not having sex regularly. You're clearly not happy with each other. You're probably not having good conversations either. Obviously, you guys have grown apart for whatever the reason may be. What do you have to lose? Not a relationship, because you don't have one right now.
Correct.
You have one on paper, and that's it. And the paper relationship is the least important one. So what I would have said to both of them was, you both should have he should have put his balls on the table, she should put her vagina on the table, and been like, this is how it's going to be. If you don't like it, I'm out.
Yeah, I'll be honest. If she puts her vagina on the table, I'm probably out. So I mean, I'm like, yeah, this is. I don't know if it's worth fighting for this one, but no, but I understand. I get it. I definitely get it. So, how did your friend respond to your advice?
Well, I ripped him a new one. I said to him, like, I said, you know what needs to be done. You need to man the fuck up. I said, you have a wife at home. You have a 3-year-old child. Your wife loves you. If you think your wife doesn't know that you're cheating on her, you're the idiot. She knows. She doesn't bug you about it because she knows once she gets the concrete evidence of it, she's going to go batshit crazy, and she cares more about her son than she does anything else. So she keeps herself blinded on purpose, but she knows. I said, people are intuitive, especially women. Human beings are not that dumb, although they could do really dumb things at times. I think she knows. Your wife probably feels invisible to you. And she's like, yeah, she definitely does. I said, yeah, you're a piece of shit. I said, because you either should have divorced her. He's like, well, I don't believe in divorce. I said, okay, fair enough. Then stop being a scumbag. You don't have to have the best relationship with your wife, but at least have a conversation with her. He's like, oh, I can't do that. I said, that's your problem. You're immature. You can't have a conversation with your wife. She lives in the same house as you. She's the mother of your child. You love your child, right? Yeah. Well, do it for your child. Don't do it for you, and don't do it for your wife. Do it for your child. Man the fuck up. I'm like, that's part of being a man. It's part of being an adult, really, if you think about it. Forget about man or woman. It's part of being an adult. Doing things that you don't want to do sometimes. Doing things for the betterment of someone else, a.k.a. your children, instead of doing it for yourself. Man the fuck up. So that's what I told him. I said, you're wrong. He goes, yeah, I know, but I have a problem. I said, no, yeah, you have a problem. You have a problem that you don't want to fix your problem. That's your problem. I said, everybody in this world has problems, whether it's substance abuse, whether it's domestic abuse, whether it's gambling, whether it's hookers, sex, whatever people's issues are. They got molested as a child. Whatever your issue is that fucks with your head, everyone has some kind of an issue. Fix it. Work on it. Don't let it get the best of you. Because all those things can destroy your personal relationships, your work relationships, every kind of relationship. It can destroy them all if you allow it to overtake your mind. So that's what I told him. I said, man the fuck up. You didn't need me to come here to tell you any of this. I appreciate that you respect me and you value my opinion. You asked me to come out here, but you know what the right thing to do is. You didn't need to hear from me. You're married. I'm not. You should know better than me. So, he was like, no, I appreciate it about you. You always speak your mind. He's like, I don't know how you've been able to, like, just stay alone. Like, you're happy being alone. I said, because I'm happy, not because I'm alone. I'm happy. I could be happy with someone. I could be happy alone. I said, everyone's different, and I worked up to that level, just like you need to work up to the level where you don't cheat on your wife. So, with this particular couple, like I said, I don't know every detail, and I'm sure there's a lot more to it. What all I'm saying is a lot of problems can be solved if people just put their cards on the table and say, this is how it's going to be. I'm willing to compromise to get it to how it's going to be. If you're not willing to do the same with me, goodbye. I'd rather be alone and happy than together and miserable.
No.
And people are too insecure. They're too afraid of the unknown. They're little bitches, and they don't want to do that. People are afraid of confrontation. If people are afraid of starting over, and and those are all respectable feelings to have. I mean, everyone gets nervous at times or afraid of things or worried. It's normal, but what's not normal is when you keep allowing yourself to have those negative feelings that deteriorate at your soul and your heart and your mind, and you don't do anything to fix it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think it's unfortunate, that I would have to agree with you said about half of people probably are going through this and feel that way. That probably correlates with the divorce rate. It's unfortunate that so many people in relationships that they don't really want to be in. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, they should make it expensive to buy your marriage license and free to get divorced.
There's a lot of women that are probably very unhappy with what you just said, John.
What's that?
that it should be very expensive to get the marriage license, but free to get divorced. There'd be a lot of ladies that would be.
Well, yeah. Think about it. If marriage is this wonderful thing, just a love underneath the temple of God, or whoever your God is, whatever you call him, Jehovah, Allah, whatever, then it should be more difficult to prove that you want to get married. It should cost more money. I mean, after all, we value everything else with money in this fucking world that we shouldn't. So, you know what? It should be a pain in the ass to get married. You know why? Because it's worth it. You're getting married on a covenant for your life with God. So it should be more expensive. It should be more difficult. There should be an extreme vetting process to get married. There shouldn't be a World War III every time a couple wants to get a divorce. And I promise you, less people will get married. Not necessarily because of the money, because they're like, do I really want to do this?
But does that end up working out for the better, for the worse, or do we end up just having more, kids out of wedlock? Because people ain't gonna stop fucking. No, that's the one thing we
What's that?
I said, does that end up actually, being worse? Because we know people aren't going to stop fucking. So are we going to have more kids out of wedlock?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Having kids out of wedlock is not the problem. Not taking care of your kids is the problem. Not being in your kid's life 7 days a week is the problem. Not being a good parent 7 days a week is the problem. Whether I live in the house with my girlfriend, my fiance, or my wife, or my side piece, doesn't change the fact whether I'm a good man, a good dad. I don't need to put a ring on your finger in order to treat you like my wife. I don't need to give you access to half my bank account to be a good husband, to be a good man, to be a good person. And it goes for a woman, too. She doesn't need a ring on her finger to be a good mother. That's not what makes a good mom. If that was the case, then there wouldn't be any good single mothers out there. They'd all be trash. That's not true. Plenty of good single women out there. Plenty of good single fathers out there. What makes somebody a good person is not what some fucking capitalistic society says is a good thing, which is you have to spend 2 months of salary for an engagement ring. You have to do a wedding. You have to do this. That's not what makes a good relationship. And maybe that's part of the reason why this couple's having a problem and a lot of other couples are having a problem in the world, is that they don't value the things that they should. They value superficial things. They value things that society has told them they should value. Maybe they don't look deep enough and appreciate the simple things in life, like the fact that you're still alive and breathing. Like you still have both your legs and you can fucking walk on your own 2 feet, and you don't rely on someone pushing you in a fucking wheelchair every day.
Yes. The simple things. But people don't want to appreciate that. We naturally make our lives more complicated than they need to be. I don't know why we do, but we do.
Yes, I mean, yeah, and I was on a different YouTube show today, and I was having a little bit of a conversation about relationships and interracial dating and stuff like that. And, basically what I said was what I told you. No matter what the situation is, if you're afraid to say something to your partner because of the repercussions, they might leave you, they might treat you differently, whatever it is, that's not your partner then. Because a true partner, true love, and it's not a myth, there is true love works around any situation. True love compromises. As men, there's a lot of things that we can't stand about women. But you know what? We also understand you can't live without women. You can't live with them. It is what it is. True love compromises.
Yes.
So if you're afraid to say something to your partner, I don't care how weird it is, how freaky it is, how wrong it is, how evil it is, if you can't say that to your partner, that's not your soulmate. And what I said in the other conversation was, you'll be surprised at what your partner agrees with you on that you think they would never agree with you on, because you would never have the balls to say it to them. You know why? Because they didn't have the balls to say it to you either.
Oh.
And I learned that the hard way, which is by being like real nervous and just saying it. And then I was like, oh shit. She's into that too? Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I'm going to try this again next time. And then I tried it again with something else, whatever. And they're like, oh, okay, you're not leaving me. You're not punching me in the face. You're not calling me you might. Oh, cool. And you will learn. You will grow, and you will learn that everyone out there is just as fucking sick as you.
Yes. That's what we're all right here, right now.
But anyway, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I want other people in the den to get in. I just want to say I love you, Honcho. Keep up the great work. God bless everybody in the chat room. Start valuing more of the important things that you need in life, not what you necessarily want in life. And thank you, everybody. This is John from New York. Check out my YouTube channel.
You cranked up? You got it going?
I got the infrastructure all up. I got the page up. I got like all the pictures, my About Me profile page in there. I'm probably going to post my first video either the end of this week or next week, which is pretty much going to be like a little 5-minute video just introducing myself, what the channel's about, the topics we're going to cover. Pretty much just simple like that, 4 or 5-minute video. And then probably in 2 or 3 weeks from now, I'll start posting videos and pretty much commentary videos. And then if that goes well and I build up a base, I'll probably do like a call-in show once a week.
Okay. Man, like I said, just start laying it down. You'll grow faster than you'll believe, man. I definitely believe it.
Yeah, I've been talking to a lot of people about my show, and just various people, different genders, races, just religions, and everyone's like, I love your idea. They're like, you say all the things that people think but are afraid to say. You're very blunt. You're fearless. Like, I've had people like, I want to be the first caller. I want what to YouTube. So I have a feeling that I'm going to do relatively well. Again, you and I've had this conversation. I just feel like YouTube's going to shut me down in 2 weeks. I'm a white guy. I'm a conservative white Trump supporter who is for interracial marriage, who's okay with gay marriage, who is not racist, who speaks Spanish, speaks a little bit of Haitian Creole, Italian, French. Like, I am not the stereotypical Trump supporter, and I feel that people are going to come for me because I say the word nigga, and I have no regrets when I say it, because I say it as a term of endearment and not in a racist way. But because I'm white, I can't possibly ever say it as a term of endearment. I call women out their name. I call men out their name. I call white people pussies. Too many people are going to be offended with me. So I think I'm going to get shut down. That's my only thing.
But then that may actually bring you, like, again, that unified base, because you're going to have the people who are happy that you're offending everybody else, and so they're going to embrace it. Or the get out of jail free card, just put like a little pride flag in the middle, or like at the bottom right corner of your video, and just say,
Put a what?
Put a little pride flag just in the bottom right corner. I mean, it's just tiny.
See, that's the thing, though. I'm a Trump supporter, and I don't want to say I'm pro LGBTQIA plus community, but I'm not against them. Like, I believe they deserve all the same rights we do. A lot of Republicans are stereotyped as not wanting that. So I feel like I'm going to really get under a lot of different people's skin. I talk very bluntly about race relations in America. It's just, again, I love who I am. I love the way I am. People who know me say they love it. I just feel that that's the issue I'm going to have on YouTube, is there's going to be some whatever person who's going to flag me. But anyway, yeah, check out the show. Honcho, again, thank you for letting me on. Hopefully this couple worked it out. I'm sure at the end of this show you're going to tell us how the lady was cheating on him the whole time.
What is they used to do on that show, Cheaters? The follow-up? I forgot what it was called. They would follow up with the couples after the show if they exposed everything. But, yeah, I'll have a follow-up at the end. An update on the...
All right.
All right, Mr. John, man.
All right, Honcho. All right, everybody. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Bye.
All right, bye. All right. We'll make this the last call here, and then I'll kind of wrap up the story. I told you I'm going to have a shorter day tonight. I'm going to slide in the Discord. We'll be in the Discord after this, but after I kind of update y'all on what happened. But what's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
Hey, it's Belle. How are you?
I'm doing well, Miss Bell. How are you doing this evening?
Good. Waiting my turn like I'm supposed to. All's good. This topic, interesting. I find different things for different times in my life. Today, I probably wouldn't have stayed if he cheated. As a younger person, I probably would have when I had kids. But the biggest thing is communication. If you have conversations about if you're in a committed relationship and what that means to both of you, and you abide by that, then it works. If one person is cheating because they feel like they're entitled to do that, I don't know if I could take somebody back. I don't know if I could forgive that person and not always feel like it was broken at this stage.
Okay.
When we first got this started, it was like, okay, is it just about cheating? Well, it's actually more about the lack of communication between the two people.
Oh.
And I know that as somebody being long-term married, I went through that.
I would agree. Communication is very important. So, you said that you went through that. So, did you resolve that situation, or how did you deal with it?
Well, as far as the cheating goes, that actually never happened with us. But we went through periods of just not being together because kids were sick, or we were both working, or just shit happening, and we just couldn't make time to be together. And then when we did get the time to be together, we were doing nothing but fighting because it was finally letting all that shit that had been building up let go. And so it made us both angry, and probably 2 hours into a one-night date in once a month kind of thing, we're at each other's throat rather than just enjoying the precious time that we have away from the kids. So I see it as being both people's issues. John's right in the fact that we as women more know about it, but we're the last ones to admit it, because we're as much the problem as we are, or we're as much of a contribution to the problem as the partner is, for the fact that if we're not putting the best communication forward, then, and we haven't done our all, then we're just as negligent on that. Now, if I have to cheat, I'm walking, because I'm not going to stay in a relationship where I'm not getting a need met, and I know that it's not going to ever get to that point. Will I let that partner know before I walk out? Yeah. Would I find that that is a huge betrayal for me. And what I have found in the past, and some men don't feel as though there's a guilt to it. It's like, well, it was a physical need, it wasn't anything emotional, it wasn't even a side check, so what are y'all worried about? Well, for the fact that if I'm the person that you're supposed to be in love with, or if I'm the person that you're living with and I'm committed to you, then you broke the commitment. And if that's not talked about, that's an important factor. Now, if you guys are on a break from each other or in an open marriage, which personally I wouldn't do for me. I don't hold any judgment on anybody else having an open marriage, but I don't think they work. If you choose to take a time off, and you know, one of the things is men always wonder why women find out, because men don't like to keep their mouth shut about who they've done. Half the time women find out because men want to tattle on themselves, either for bragging for the fact that they did it, or for the fact that they want us to feel sorry for the fact that they did it because they couldn't get what they needed from us, which doesn't work with me either. The point is if you're going to cheat, you're better off telling that person that we need to not be in a committed relationship.
I could agree with that. Now I could agree with that.
Well,
Scott,
I mean,
hold on one second.
Sure.
Oh, Scotty, you was about to get fucking annihilated. I didn't know what the fuck that was. Hold on one moment. Goddamn, dog. Scotty, what the hell is wrong with you, man? You can't just come barging in the fucking... Oh, shit. You're very rude, dog. You don't respect the rules. You don't respect the boundaries that I have set for you, Scotty.
That's Scotty.
You're grounded, yes. Damn dog coming barging in the room and attacking my socks. It's unacceptable.
Uh-oh.
There we go. All right. Okay. Yeah, Scotty's throwing everything off track. You were saying about men bragging about, their claims and their conquerors. So.
Well, sometimes it comes in the form of tears and what's the word I want? I can't think of the word, but it's when they come back and they want us to absolve them from their sins, kind of thing, and make everything all right. When the fact is if it's broke, you have to decide whether or not it's worth super gluing it back together again.
Oh,
it may either be stronger. Are you all right? It may either be stronger or it may just be completely broken.
I'm good. I was picking up this fat dog so he can make a guest appearance. And people, now y'all get y'all's proof of life. The dog is alive. And as useless
We've
as
been
ever.
asking about him.
So there y'all go. There's the dog. Look at the camera, Scotty. You're not getting paid for this. All right, there you go. All right, scram. I ain't get no fucking food, man. That's my plate. Move. Yeah. And sorry about that. But yeah, so I mean, it's. I agree though. Like if you are cheating, you're considering cheating, you have been cheated on. I guess maybe it's a little bit different. But I mean, if you're on either side, you should probably consider walking. My thing with being the cheated on person too is, you feel bad. You want to give that person a second chance, and I'm saying this from being a former cheater, the likelihood of that person changing is slim. Like if somebody cheats on you and you take them back, I'm gonna be honest. Like it's they're gonna do it again. Like it's a I don't know. I'm gonna say 9 and 10, 19 out of 20 chance that fucking you're gonna get cheated on again. It's like it's very very rare. I think it takes something like major for somebody to switch up that behavior. So again, if you're going to cheat on somebody, leave. Don't put them through it. They don't deserve it. And then if you're getting cheated on, there's no point in really trying to, like you said, put that super glue on it.
Well, the other thing too is that, and this works sometimes and it doesn't work sometimes, depending on how old the person is. But past dating situations, if you go in and you're in a relationship with them and you ask them, well, you don't have to ask them how many people that they've been with, but in how many relationships or what's the percentage that have you ever cheated in a relationship. That gives you a telltale sign of whether or not it may be a repeat pattern or it's just not something that they do. And when you communicate with somebody, most of the time you can tell whether or not there's a possibility of them cheating by what they're saying. And I don't know if it was Broderick or Man Up or somebody had said not too long ago, never ask a man to tell you twice who he is, because the first time they've actually told you who they are.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
It's not wrong. Whether or not you want to stay and tolerate it or think that you can change it, now that's a completely different game on either side of the coin. And believe me, when a woman tells you who she is, 99% of the time, she is that person if she's genuine. And if she's not, men come with baggage as well. But the point is don't take on a woman to think that you can change her or save her either, because, are we in relationships to help each other grow up, or are we in relationships to be grown-ups?
Whew. And that's actually kind of an interesting way of putting it. I think it's a different stroke for different folks. I think some folks kind of need that partner to, and I hate to say complete them, but maybe help them strengthen areas where they're weak. And then other people kind of got it together. They got it figured out. They know what they want. They have themselves together. They find those partners who are pretty complete too. And I think those are more your being grown up types, and then your others are, well, they got to kind of help each other grow up. But hopefully you hope that they get to that point. But a lot of times I think those immature couples end up kind of not making
well,
it.
Well, here's the fallacy. Partnership doesn't complete people. Relationships complete people. You can be in a relationship with your husband, and as long as you have great communication and things are working out, that's fine. But the minute things go sour and you can't talk to them, they're not completing you. And so that being said, it's very difficult to not want to step out, but that's where having a good support system helps people. I had a friend of mine once tell me, and she was married for almost 50 years, and she said, I love my husband, he's my partner, but he doesn't complete me. She said, I have my friends, I have my church people. So it's not necessarily the fact of having outside relationships, but it's having other people to connect to. Her husband was an avid fisherman, so he was gone a lot, but it worked for them. But their connection together, when they were together, it looked like they were always in love. It's a rare thing to happen. It's a balance.
That's what I think it is. I think people, I think the best relationships are two people who are individuals in their own right. And then, when they come together, they can find that unity, they can find that common ground. Like the people who try to be, this one fucking cohesive entity all the time. I think those are the people that end up kind of, struggling because, we're all human. We all have our individual traits that, we like. And I think being around somebody just too much can cause frustration. It can cause annoyance, and it can cause, little dislike, or it can magnify things that maybe you wouldn't consider such a big deal. But being around them so much, so often, it ends up becoming a problem. So I do believe that being able to have that separation is important. I think, what is it?
Yeah.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Now, I will say this. Before I had married my husband, when I was in my mid-20s, I dated a guy on and off. It wasn't a committed thing, and I never asked for his commitment. Did I know that he saw other women? Yeah, I did. Was I sleeping with other men? No, I chose not to. But the fact is when we decided to make it a little bit more intimate, I said to him, if we decide to make this closer, then it's just you and me. Well, that lasted for about 6 months, and we decided that the relationship wasn't for us. But when we weren't in a committed relationship, or we hadn't decided to be monogamous for one to the other, I didn't have a right to ask him about any of that. If we weren't in that
Unemployment,
kind of relationship,
cutting off
but it
funds.
has to be
Shit,
defined.
this will have to do. #Den for life.
Well,
And when it's not, that's when it gets messy.
I appreciate the love, Miss Marie Lovely. Yeah, again, like I say, it's a situation where, it's too much expectation, I think, one, and then too much, what's the word I'm looking for? Too much expectation, not enough communication.
Okay.
That's what I mean, yeah. That's what I mean.
Okay, the other thing is I also see when it's the injured party, whether it's the female or the male that feels entitled because they're hurt to step out and cheat, that's the wrong thing to do.
Yes.
And just because you're hurt doesn't entitle you to hurt the other person and betray the relationship if you're in a committed relationship.
Correct.
Whether it's male or female, it doesn't really matter, either one. Because that's bringing something else and someone else into the relationship that the two people have. Now, if you're not committed to one another and you're seeing other people, then shoot, unless it is a monogamous relationship, nobody really has the right to say anything.
Correct.
But it's sad when a person feels as though they're not getting a piece of ass or they're miserable, that it's okay to step out without confronting the relationship at hand. And that's pretty much all I got.
I agree. Communication rules the nation. All right, Ms. Bell. Usually, you start the show off, but tonight you'll be ending it, so it's all good. But I appreciate you calling in and sharing your thoughts with us this evening.
All right. Well, good night, and maybe you'll get a call or two in, and maybe this is end of night. I'm not exactly sure, so y'all take care.
All right, Ms. Bell, I appreciate you calling. You have a good evening. Thank you.
All right, you too.
All right.
Night.
All right, so like I was saying, it's going to be a little bit of a shorter day and night, as I was saying earlier. But I will slide in the Discord here in just a second. But I did want to give y'all, kind of the follow-up on the story as to what happened and took place. So, after the incident and everything that happened, like I said, the gentleman has, gone on record to, let any and everybody know, of his wrongdoing and, correcting his behavior, his commitment to his wife. And but what he said was kind of something that man I preferred to, if I'm not mistaken. And that is, beforehand, knowing, what love means to, each individual. Love means something different to all of us. To some of us, love is a physical thing. If you don't have that physical, if it ain't fucking, if it ain't hugging, if it ain't, that, then it isn't love. If they're not constantly being touched and reinforced in that manner. some people are better lovers from a distance. Some people just, have that appreciation. They just know that they're there. They don't need that constant reaffirming or any of that. Hey, it is what it is. They don't talk about it. They just kind of more action oriented. Not something they speak on. Some people are like that. Like again, it's just different levels. Like I think there's something. What is that? The love language. I've never read it. I don't know, but I know it talks about different types. Scotty, apparently you must want to go outside. That's the only reason you fucking with me. That's the only reason this dog. He want to go outside. I know, and he's going in the backyard. He think I'm taking him in the front yard. He can kiss my ass. But and apparently maybe they had different love languages or whatever you want to call it. But basically what he was saying is that, he talked to somebody, he talked to, I believe his preacher, he said, and, he told him about, well, the way you're seeing love is in the physical form, she needs it more in the actual affection, kind of nurturing kind of way, right? And so, and he said he's been working on that and being, adjusting and trying to show the love in the way that she understands it. And he says it's been, a little bit of work, but has been the most affectionate, the best time in his relationship since that has happened. Like things have changed up. They've improved in every area. Like I say, he's cut off all the extra stuff. He's fully committed and fully shown, that, he's willing to go the extra mile. I commend him for it. If you're trying to, keep your family and your relationship intact. And again, personally, because I've done worse, so maybe I don't see what he did as bad. But again, I get the conversation, the talking, and all that. It's still considered cheating. But there's been people who've done far worse. And so I think personally that the guy, I think he's a good guy. I think it just was a situation where a lot of us, but almost everything in life, is misunderstanding or lack of not having enough information. And I think when he was presented with that information and he's been able to apply it, and he's saying that his marriage has been the best it's been, and he wants to keep it that way. So I commend him on that. So, again, no, it's not me. I don't have any kids, unless you want to count this dog. But then again, even then, I need a DNA test. So, that's basically what I got. But we're going to be in the Discord, immediately after, right after the slide in the Discord. I may be on mute for just a few minutes. But I'm going to be in there for a little bit. I'll stay there for a little bit, then I'm going to tap out. I'm not going to be up all night tonight. I ain't going to bullshit y'all straight up. I'm fucking tired, man. So, with that being said, Miss Marie Lovely, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm trying to produce, man, plus I gotta take Scotty. He's finna start getting aggressive. He's gonna start fucking biting holes in my socks or some shit. I don't know. That's the only advantage he has. He can't bully or harm me in any other way. So, I've been just noticing recently that some of my favorite socks have been looking a little suspect. And it's my fault because I've been just wearing the fuck out of them. But I want to blame Scotty, right? It makes me feel better to blame Scotty to justify calling him a bad dog or something. But as y'all can tell, I'm tired of rambling. I'm sure to do, man. I appreciate y'all. I thank y'all for being here. We'll be at it tomorrow. I got I should be back for my appointment in time. So I'll fuck with y'all. Slide to the Discord. If I'll try to put the link in there in a second. If you need it, just hit me if you ain't got it. Yeah. And we can continue the conversation, man. I appreciate it. I fucks with y'all. I thank y'all. To the Discord. If not, then I got to go home. But I gotta get the fuck up out of here. Like I'm about to do.